We have been focusing on the hostages and the prisoners who were released after the Gaza ceasefire, but this peace deal is also about getting food and medical aid to the people of Gaza. They need it urgently. Now, the UN says more than 500,000 people are starving after more than 2 years of fighting. Joining us now is Hani Almadhoun. He's co-founder of the Gaza Soup Kitchen and senior director of philanthropy at the UN Agency for Palestine Refugees. Good morning to you, Hani. Thank you so much for joining us. We saw yesterday that the aid was starting to get through, but all you need to do is look at the pictures and see that need is so great. What are the biggest challenges as we sit here today, from your point of view?
Thank you, Gayle, for having me. Obviously, more aid is needed. The Palestinians in Gaza lost everything, and they need everything. As I drove to get here, I read 600 aid trucks were allowed in. That's a great start, and the Palestinians need every single thing in those aid trucks. There is some medicine, there is some cooking gas and fuel. There's some stuff that the Palestinians have not seen in 2 years, frankly. And as you know, Israel controls the entire borders of the Gaza Strip, and now they're allowing more aid. That's great. The Palestinians in Gaza, including my parents, my elderly parents, have been really working hard to try to get food to their neighbors. But now this is the time for the agencies like UNRWA, UNRWA, to deliver the aid that's needed at scale. They already have the food to deliver. One of the challenges, Gayle, right now is the roads are broken. There is ditches. It's hard to drive trucks in those roads. I think there is, in the next few days, things will get better. I hope everybody keeps their end of the deal so the Palestinians can catch a break. They've suffered. We already have more than enough victims. We need medicine in Gaza. I hope in those 600 trucks today, some of the medicine that we need in Gaza to be delivered.
Yeah, I know too, Hani, this is personal for you. You lost 2 brothers. I'm so sorry about that. The loss is so great. You mentioned that your parents are there and you've been in communication with them. What are they telling you?
Well, if you're watching and you're an elderly person, you should take comfort that my parents, who are in their mid-70s, really fought the famine for their neighbors. They've been delivering food for about 100,000 people last month. They're telling me that they're excited to be alive, but they know that there are a lot of work coming ahead of them. They're trying to figure out if they still have a home. We know that the homes in Gaza City they owned are in ashes now. They were just literally standing 2 weeks ago. But honestly, they just get a good night of sleep. My mom tells me she no longer has to look at the roof before she closes her eyes, worried which side of the roof will hurt her most. And now we do not have to worry about that. When I went to bed last night here in Virginia, I woke up knowing that my family will be there.
I know, yes. I'm so relieved to hear that for you and everybody else in this terrible situation. And as you point out, most of Gaza has been destroyed. We can look at the pictures and see that. But I'm wondering if you still have hope. Do you see anything that encourages you at this particular time about the future?
Yes, as Palestinians, we're self-molded realists, but at the end of the day, we've hit rock bottom in Gaza, and the bar is so low to make me hopeful and get me excited. A bowl of fruit salad yesterday was allowed into Gaza. That gave people a moment of joy. Things we take for granted are missing in Gaza. Cookies, biscuits, tea, things like that. But we also, we want freedom too, right? We need fruits, we want freedom. We hope that this deal sticks. I take the president for his words where he said the war is over. For the Palestinians, it's been a lot more than war, I think. We've been seeing a lot of atrocities committed, but at the end of the day, I am hopeful that this deal will go through. There is more aid being allowed in, but we're not even talking about the rebuilding phase. I'm happy the hostages are back. Some of the prisoners are back. This is a moment to remember our shared humanity and remember that Israel still controls every single entry point and exit of Gaza.
All right.
So in a way, we're going to work hard. But I want you to know my parents get excited when they hear them going to be in your show and they send you their solidarity.
Oh, thank you, Hani. Thank you so much. You've given us a lot to think about this morning. And I won't forget the phrase now, fruits and freedom. Something to think about. You're right. We take so much for granted. Thank you so much. And please know we are thinking about your parents and everybody in this situation right now. Thank you for your time.
Stay blessed. Thank you.
Thank you. You too.
Welcome back to CBS Mornings Plus. Yesterday, the world celebrated the release of the last living hostages taken during the October 7th Hamas terror attack on Israel. Overwhelming emotion overtook family and friends reunited after nearly 2 years of war. Those cries say it all. In Gaza, there were joyous reunions as nearly 2,000 Palestinian prisoners and detainees were released. Many Gazans returned to what's left of their homes. Aid trucks full of food, medicine, and fuel have already started streaming in, according to the United Nations. Part of the peace plan includes measures to increase aid. By the way, in the last several months, only 20% of the aid needed in Gaza has been delivered, according to the UN. Ricardo Perez is a spokesperson for the United Nations Children's Fund, or UNICEF. He last traveled to Gaza in August, and he joins us now this morning from Geneva. Ricardo, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me, Adriana.
So tell us, how much aid has UNICEF been able to deliver since this peace plan took effect, the ceasefire, and have the trucks, enough of them, been able to get in?
Look, we're celebrating as well because we wanted to see the end of the violence and carnage and the killing of children across the Gaza Strip, which has been happening or had been happening for over 2 years. And that celebration is valid, especially when we see families with their loved ones returning home after being held hostages or in prison. So this is a moment the world should cherish. However, the scale of destruction and needs that has been building up in Gaza since October 7th, 2023 won't be solved in a couple of weeks, even months. It could take decades before we can see Gaza back from the rubble again. UNICEF managed to get 41 trucks on Sunday when corridors were open, which is just not enough. It's a good start for us to deliver winter clothes for children because the temperatures are going to drop very soon. We managed to get hygiene kits, dignity kits for girls and women, but children are still facing a famine across Gaza. It started in Gaza City and probably spread it already to the south. And we had 500,000 people exposed to those very, very dire, deadly conditions. So if we want to reverse that, we need a lot more action. The celebrations and the enthusiasm is valid, but that needs to be reflected into more trucks getting in, more humanitarian corridors open, and more people accessing life-saving aid, food, water, medicines, and above all, protection.
So, Ricardo, the United Nations says it's negotiating with the state of Israel to open more crossings for aid to get through. As you mentioned, that's a requirement to get that aid to those people who still need it. What have you heard about the timeline for that?
Vlad, we don't have any specific timeline. Unfortunately, we're pushing for that. As the UN, we are part of this new deal that will increase the influx of aid and flood Gaza with humanitarian supplies. However, the negotiations are still ongoing. We know more crossings will be open. That's part of the deal. For us, the Rafah crossing in the south is a very important one, but there are more in the north that need to be open as well. People are starting to move from south to north. We know that at least 300,000 people started to make their way back from the south into Gaza City and into the north, looking for whatever is left from their homes. So it just needs to move a lot faster than it's moving now. We're happy that we're managing to get aid through, but it's not enough and it's not moving swiftly enough.
Ricardo, under the Trump administration, we saw cuts. The estimate I saw was around $148 million that was cut from USAID that was going to UNICEF. How has that impacted your agency and your ability to deliver aid to Gaza?
Adriana, that's a very good question. Overall, it has impacted UNICEF severely. We know of stories from Sudan to Bangladesh where kids are not accessing life-saving services anymore. They're not going to school. They're not being able to receive the protection support that they need because of these funding cuts. So 20% is a big figure for us. When it comes to Gaza, I don't have the specifics of it, but clearly that is an impact that will go across our programs and especially in humanitarian emergencies. So we need more. We need more resources. We need more aid, and we definitely need more funds if we're going to rebuild Gaza and give children the future they deserve.
The road is going to be long, but we began with the first step this week. Ricardo Perez, thank you very much. We appreciate it with today's By the Way.